A new day. We woke early in our canvas palace and were ready to greet the dawn, or at least a 6 a.m. breakfast. This would be the first place we were staying for more than one night, so no need to pack. Instead, breakfast would be followed by birding the Oloololo Escarpment before heading back into the Mara Triangle. There would be no time today to bird the extensive grounds of the Mara West Camp. Despite the urge to load up the vans, a few birds in the car park did get looked at, like this female violet-backed starling, a sky full of little swifts, and a Mariquois sunbird taking in the rays. Out on the escarpment, one of our first sightings was a lifer red-billed oxpecker, rather strangely perched on a power pole and not on an ox. A whole family of familiar chats were flitting about the brush here. They may be familiar to some, but they were very new for us. They were so active it was difficult to get a good image. More violet-backed starlings, this time males but unfortunately some distance away. We would hope for a better sighting before we left the Mara. This was a bird we had really wanted to see. We had seen African blue flycatchers on videos before we'd left home and they had looked fantastic. In the event, they did not disappoint. The images we got do not do this lovely little bird full justice. Nearby, this green-backed woodpecker insisted on hiding behind the bole of a tree. The rather ubiquitous African dusky flycatchers were also present, as were the very common, but still lovely, cinnamon-chested bee-eaters. I think the pishing by our guide enticed in this yellow-fronted canary too. A real treat. Turacos are never guaranteed, so we were delighted with this Ross's Turaco at the side of the track. It never really gave a full unobstructed view, but we still felt privileged to have seen it. A beautiful golden-breasted bunting. They always seem to be high up in trees. This was a good sighting. A red-headed weaver, one of the better named of the weaver family, posed nicely in a small tree. We were only going to find this species in this location, although on 2 consecutive days. A brief stop to take a look at a northern fiscal was followed by a longer stop at the top of the plateau, where we were actually allowed to get out of the vans for a leg stretch. A couple of marabou storks drifted past overhead. Plain zebras, nearby, were adorned with red-billed oxpeckers. This was a much more expected perch than the power pole we'd seen one on earlier. A sooty chat entertained us hopping about in the grass. A class cuckoo was very hard to spot. It was difficult enough when facing us with its pale barred breast and belly visible, but it was almost impossible to see when it turned its back to us. That green was a very effective camouflage. We were heading around the back of the escarpment now, stopping only to view a bare-faced go-away bird, unfortunately against the light. Better were some much closer male violet-backed starlings. At last, a good view of these birds. We were heading for the main road that leads down to the Oloololo gate of the Mara Triangle. It was quite a view as we descended. We still stopped for interesting birds though, including this Usambiro barbet. It is quite amazing just what can be carried on the back of a motorbike. We had last seen pin-tailed wydar at Manguo Marsh way back on our first day, so it was nice to run into another fine male. And of course we hadn't got fed up of seeing purple grenadiers or speckled mousebirds. Rather less common was a northern anteater chat. Here stood on top of one of the milestones belonging to the Kenya Highway Authority. We reached the Oloololo gate of the Mara Triangle mid-morning and headed off for comfort breaks whilst our tickets were being bought. The ceiling of the gatehouse was a mass of little swift nests. Just inside the gate were a family of banded mongooses, lazing around and playing. What a great experience to watch them. Eventually they all raced off across the grass and we could continue on into the reserve. Back in the reserve proper, it wasn't long before we came across a solitary bull savanna elephant. A long-crested eagle was sitting on the edge of a small mud cliff, rather than in a tree. Great views though. The giraffes we were to see here were Maasai giraffes. Opinions differ on whether the 3 types of giraffe we were to see during the tour are full species or just subspecies. Whatever, they were all great to see. Tawny eagles might be fairly common out on the Mara Triangle Plain, but they were always a welcome sighting, especially when they showed this well. It had proved surprisingly difficult to get images or footage of olive baboon. They were either obscured, too far away, or we were passing at speed and could not stop. Even this one, actually at the side of the track, was slightly obscured by waving grasses that interfered with the focus on the video. Oh well, we'd have to try again. Yellow-throated longclaw was to be by far the most common of the longclaw species that we were to see on this tour. It had been a busy morning so far, and we were not finished yet. It would be another hour at least before we'd even have lunch. These were action-packed days on the Mara Triangle, and we were determined to make the most of our limited time here. Who knows if we'd ever get the chance to return to Kenya and the Masai Mara. For more information, see our 3-volume travelogue in ebook or paperback from Amazon. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to our channel. Be sure not to miss the other videos in the Kenyan Birding Safari series. If you liked this content, then why not look for our Mexico birding videos on our YouTube channel and our travelogues on Amazon.